Okay, this is a really, really difficult question. We're differentiating again. We've got those dashes back. Now, the more dashes you get, that's just you differentiate the answer. So if I got an answer for this, say the answer to this was e to the 2x, then f double dash would be the answer to differentiating this. F triple dash would be the answer to differentiating the double dash answer. So that's why there's more dashes in here. It's just how many times you've differentiated from the beginning. Now, there's 3 components to differentiating this question. One of which you know from previous questions, and that's when we differentiate. So if my f of x was just the bit inside this square root, x squared plus 2x plus 1, we've talked about how to differentiate that. That is going to be, we're going to bring the power to the front and take 1 off the power, so that's going to become 2x. And remember, for just x's on their own, that gives you it becomes the number in front, and for numbers on their own, that disappears. So the derivative, or the differentiated answer to x squared plus 2x plus 1 is just 2x plus 2. Now, you're right that doesn't appear anywhere here, but it doesn't mean it's not the right answer. C, I think, could be right. Actually, no, maybe it can't be. Anyway, the next thing to know is that if you have a square root in a differentiation question, we need to change it into something else. Now, a square root is the same as a fraction to the power of a half. Oh, hang on, that is the answer. C is right. I've just spotted something. This is really sneaky. X squared plus 2x plus 1 factorises into x plus 1 twice. So x squared plus 2x plus 1 can actually be written as x plus 1 all squared. Now if I add in the square root, we are square rooting a square, and when you square root a square, it just gets rid of everything. So in fact, we're not differentiating e to all this horrible stuff, we're just differentiating e to the power of x plus 1. So they've made the question more complicated than it needed to be. So that's the first step of spotting, of working through this question, and I didn't spot it initially. Okay. The thing I was saying earlier about the differentiating that x squared plus 2x plus 1, we now just need to differentiate x plus 1, or we will do, and that is just going to be 1, because we've got 1x which goes to 1, and the second one just disappears, so we've just got 1x. No, we've not, we've just got 1. That will differentiate to 1. Oh man, right, this is a hard question. So, the next thing to know is if you've got an e to the x as your function, the answer is just e to the x. E to the x, it's called self-differentiating. It differentiates to itself. So e to the x plus 1 will differentiate to e to the x plus 1, but then we have to use a chain rule and we have to times by the derivative of this, but the derivative of this is just 1. So f dash x is just e to the x plus 1. It self differentiates. So that's f of x, that's f dash x. F double dash x, so I don't need this, is the same again. It's just going to keep differentiating to e to the x plus 1, e to the x plus 1, e to the x plus 1. So f triple dash x is going to be e to the x plus 1, which means A is true and B is true. C is not true and D is not true. But that means it's e that's true, that at least 2 of the above are true. So I'm guessing they want you to write E, but really we should say A, B and E, but E, because we're only allowed to tick one box, we're going to go with E.